This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, Summer Helene and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk 4 Media.
G'day guys, welcome to Behind the Scenes. I'm your host, Summer Helene, and we are on with my co-host, who I'm not talking to because he just grabbed my boob.
Dude, come on. You gotta say it.
You Me Too'd me.
I can't say it myself. It sounds too
the baddest bear in the cage that grabbed my boob.
Yeah, the baddest bear in the cage. I might be one of the only few people named Bear in the Cage, but that still counts.
You grabbed my
still
boob.
on top. That's what makes me the baddest. No rules, rebel.
You're Harvey Weinstein-y?
That's not at all what I said. And wait, didn't you defend him at one point for like half a second?
Yeah, I said he was no. Someone asked what I thought of him, and I said he was always nice to me.
That's fair. Well, he was also afraid of your boss at the time.
Oh my God,
we were just talking about that for the show.
Yeah, we were talking about that with Jesse about doucheberry over at WWE.
Right.
Vince McMahon was also very nice to me.
Well, you know, when
they
everyone
needed
wants
money from my boss.
That's what it is.
And I was kind of the gatekeeper, and my boss was very, very protective of me.
When everyone wants money from Mr. Giamatti Sr., they tend to not screw with his people.
Yeah.
That was kind of the idea.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Talking about people you shouldn't screw with, Diego Sanchez should be pretty high on that list, but also our guest today, JesseOnFire, would be there too.
Jesse would definitely be there.
Yeah.
So we
and
talked
Joshua
about
Fabia has not learned that idea yet.
Oh, I don't know if we were going to talk about him. I'll still try and get him on the show.
Oh,
he
okay.
actually
No worries.
ghosted. So he called the show. I'm going to tell you all. Joshua Fabia's assistant, I think it was Joshua Fabia, contacted the show and asked if he could come on. And we're like, yeah, dope. Like, come on. You're more than welcome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you think we misrepresented you, we are happy to have you on.
Right.
And we have, and he's kind of ghosting us now.
Yeah. I think it was more so like, was it veiled in a threat, or was it something like, I don't know. It was just kind of odd. Almost like
Kimmy, would you grab my pink lipstick?
It was almost like it wasn't a threat, but it wasn't like asking politely. He very much felt like we had wronged him and that he needed to come back on to clear his name on our platform.
And he is welcome to do that.
Yes.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
We're happy to have him on anytime.
Anytime. I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to have him on. You know, it's common knowledge. Bear's a big fan of Diego, so he's always going to be on that side. But personally, I don't know Diego. I don't know MMA, so I'm just a fan of whatever makes money.
Well, you know what? That could be arranged in one way, shape, or form. But really, anyone from season 1, I'm a pretty big fan of. I think season 1 of The Ultimate Fighter was one of the best, and actually one of the best things the UFC ever did was start this kind of like, yeah, sure, it's entertainment, but this type of show, and now the Contender Series, because it gets guys who otherwise wouldn't have been seen or known about on the main stage. You don't care. I'm gonna take it as you completely agree with me in every way, shape, or form, and I'm never wrong. Continue to say nothing.
I think it is an excellent television premise. I think it is an excellent.
I almost got it all out.
I think it's an excellent television premise.
Yeah. Except for they would try and get everyone super, super drunk.
That part's not cool, but we don't talk about that because they are now partnered with some of our partners.
You're right. All right. Never mind. They don't do that.
Mouse right now.
You work for the mouse?
Yeah.
Everyone works for the mouse. Disney owns everything. Disney owns porn, for God's sake.
We're not supposed to tell people Disney does
Okay.
porn.
Disney does not do pornographic movies.
How come the filter's on you, not me? Like this light is so aging on me.
It's not a filter. It's the lack of what you call it?
Pay attention to him.
I can't remember the word. Basically, it's what.
Oh, good.
Now it's back. Yeah, it is back on me. It's basically it smooths you up because it can only focus. That's what it is. It can only focus on one person.
Focus on him. All I have to do is hit you with the mouse and it focuses.
Is that it?
And then I'm smoothing. Yes, we like this better. Well, I'm really excited for our guest today. He's one of our favorite people. He's a friend of the show. You always ask us questions. We never ask him the questions, and then you get pissed at us. I'd like to welcome to the show, JesseOnFire.
What's up, you guys?
Hey,
good day, sir. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm looking at another blockbuster story that I'm going to run as we speak.
What's going on?
I'll tell you guys offline. Or, well, you'll get to see it too. But
yeah, that's fair.
We follow you. We always watch.
Listen, when you run a big story, it's amazing how like, how do I put this? If you run a big story about a person we swear on this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome
if you run a big story about a person who's a piece of shit, it's amazing the number of people who are itching to give you information about said piece of shit. You know, like once you become the voice of exposing some fuckball.
Yeah.
I mean, this is bananas. I'm looking at, oh man. Oh
that's what happened to us after the Fabia thing. We had people have sent us stuff on Fabia, on Bona. Actually, I should send all that to you. And we just got stacks of it.
Yeah, everyone's got a story about that guy now.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a crazy one. I got a crazy one this morning, but this one I'm looking at actual like documentation of some
really messed up stuff.
Whoever sent me this.
Thank you.
Sources and methods. I won't, but excellent.
Yeah. It's you and McDojo. I think what you guys do is really kind of a service because it stops. You talk about shitty people. He talks about shitty places.
Yeah. Well, shitty people in shitty places.
Right. Yeah. He's calling out the rapists, the scam artists, the everything to do with martial arts. And now technically you too do that actually.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I do so many videos that later, babe. I do so many videos that I would say the weight of videos I do varies so much because one day I'll be like, Sean Strickland said that gays is a form of retardation. And that's like my whole video is talking about that. And then the next day it's like, oh, here's years of extortion and abuse and videos of whatever exposed. It's like
it flips, gets a little bit heavy.
You have those levity moments, and that makes a difference. Like one of the things I like about you is I can watch a really heavy story, and then if you're on playlist, the next thing it jumps to is always something that kind of has me laughing. Like it's almost like that palate cleanser to a degree.
Yeah.
Like when you listen to those heavy Reddit stories, they're always like, here's a mood booster post. Yours is kind of the same. You've got those mood boosters in between things where you're just like, oh my God.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he makes it easy, he makes it easy. All I got to do is think of something small and then inject joke about tiny person.
That's terrible.
Sounds like it works.
No, your video from yesterday blew up.
Yeah, it did.
It's what? Say that again?
Your video from yesterday is blowing up.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I did. This was one of the first times that I, really went out of my way to kind of hype a specific video up in advance, where like I talked about it, said you guys should do this. I did a live stream, leading into when it was going to drop. And it performed really well. I mean, Diego shared it on his social media also, but yeah, it's doing really well.
Well, hell yeah, that's awesome. I saw it. It's 40 minutes long, and the concept is talking about the Joshua Fabia kind of extorting Diego Sanchez once again. This time a little bit more cringy, honestly.
We'll call it. In our opinion, he's extorting him.
In our opinion,
no. I'm going to say directly, he's extorting him and sue me. Fabia.
Yeah, I mean. That's what's really funny about that,
because then we got to prove stuff. We got to pull up records. Like sue me because I'm cool. I can afford the lawyers, mate. Sue me.
What is fucking but like in all seriousness, the reason I was so careful about it in the video is just because if he did have a good lawyer and I just straight up was like, he's extorting him, he's extorting me, he's extorting him. That is like extortion is a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there is if I was his attorney, I'd easily be able to prove defamation if I, based on that video, because he did work for him, like we know what we're looking at. Yeah. But like, if it's a court case, it wouldn't be hard to prove, to argue defamation, which is why I'm like, yeah, it's just my opinion. And fuck you, Fabia. There goes your defamation, but, when I first saw those videos though, I had this like it's hard to describe how mixed that emotion was because I was so excited because I knew I was going to fuck that little shit's mouth with those videos. And then at the same time, they were so infuriating to watch that, yeah. I mean, dude, I've been talking to some big industry people that watch the video, and then they're all hitting me up and like, everybody's just like, what, dude? I actually think that I'm not sure that people realized what a nefarious little fucker that guy was. You know, like everybody knew he was kind of like a scammer, but I don't think anybody realized like how devious he really was. You know what I mean?
He's dangerous, but where he's dangerous is in the cult leader. I'm going to make you think I'm more dangerous than I am, and I'm going to use that to control you area. The thing, so what he did to us when he came on the show, you know, and he the first thing he did is he sent me stacks of Diego's
he
personal
tried to throw
records.
him under the biggest bus you can imagine.
And he's trying to get us to read these out on air, and I'm like, not fucking happening.
Did you guys watch the whole video? Or Summer, did you watch the whole video that I put out yesterday?
I watched most of it. We had meetings all night, so I'm like watching it in between meetings.
Did you see where Josh is like, now since you don't want to expose yourself, I'm gonna have to expose you? Yeah. That's him prefacing going on your show. I would bet my life on that. Like he said that to Diego, then he went on your show and he was like, hey, just so everyone knows, Diego's molested as a child. He's a drug addict, and I was there to, you know, thought that like it's like people who have no interpersonal skills are. It's like the irony of that fucking guy.
I think
running the school of self-awareness is like, dude, you're literally the least self-aware person in history. It's perfect. It's like him running the school of self-awareness, being the least self-aware person is amazing. You're like, you really think that this is reflecting well on you? You just said that you are his confidant, but now you're exposing all of his secrets. And you think that reflects bad on Diego? Everybody's got fucking hooked on drugs. Everybody's like had this kind of issue. Like everyone can relate to Diego. You want to know what they don't relate to? Is betraying people who fucking completely put their trust in them. You stupid little miniature fucking cocksucker.
You know, when people, we have to say things like possibly, or in my opinion, or something like that, subjective. In my opinion, he's either tons of these traits or is a narcissist in itself. And when you have a personality type like that, they don't get that people don't love them. He doesn't get that people don't support him. He just thinks he hasn't explained it the right way.
Enough. Yeah, you see the same thing with Meghan Markle. You see Meghan Markle the same way. Also, sue me, bitch. Monarchist. But you see the same traits in there, but with her, and the difference with him is when he came on and he sent us Diego's medical records. Yeah. I think the two biggest things that caught me with
is that fucking legal?
No. But I'll send you what he sent us, and you should.
I mean, I'm certainly not going to show his medical records, but I'll certainly say he shared his fucking medical records.
Some of the stuff.
I got to take a note of that. Hang on.
How else do we have it?
So some of the stuff he sent, he should not have had access to, and so some of it I'll redact, but send to you. But he sent us what he sent us was horrifying. The part that really got me though, when he kind of called to come back on the show, I was like, buddy, did you ever bother researching where you were going? Like my co-host is a cage fighter. There's no way he's going to be on your side, not Diego's. And you're sitting here arguing with me about media. I've been doing this for 20 years.
Well, I think the thing is, he thought he was coming on here with Diego.
Originally, he was coming on with Diego
to promote themselves as doing the right
thing.
What
was ironic
and
about
himself
that?
Promote the OnlyFans.
Yeah. Well, what was ironic about that is what we'd had set before the show, before they'd come on, was we were actually set up to offer Diego counseling. If he wanted to step away from Fabio, we were going to offer help. That was what was set for the show, but they split the day before, and we still, of course, offered Diego counseling and all of that. And that's not for the show. That's just simply what we were doing, because you cannot come out of a situation after dealing with somebody who is that crazy and be okay.
Yeah, there are actual programs for like deprogramming people who are in cults, and that's exactly what that is.
Well, that's what we did before the show, before we had planned on having them both on, was we'd spoken with a guy that runs cult rehab after Scientology, because there's no cult rehab after Fabio.
Absolutely.
But we spoke with him, we talked with him, we're like, hey, how do we do this? And so we like prepped, right? And then we just got Fabio.
Dude. Hang on, I'm trying to look. Like, there's a movie like about this that I'm gonna recommend to everybody that is fucking amazing. Like, think it's called like Fissure.
It sounds very familiar.
It's oh my God, it is so good, dude. It's like one of those ones that where Faults. It's called Faults.
Faults.
So FAULTS, and that movie is like a sleeper fucking grand slam. I mean, depending on what kind of movies you like, but that's like, if you watch that movie and you're like, oh, I wonder what kind of, genre is Jesse's favorite, that. Like, you couldn't script it better. Like, that's my fucking wheelhouse right there. It's called Faults. The whole thing basically happens like inside of 2 motel rooms. And it's about, like it's a cult deprogrammer with like a girl who's trying to deprogram with her family. It's fucking amazing, dude.
Hell yeah. Faults it is. I'll watch that.
I wish you could have done that with Paul Bonner. We spoke with his family, and they're actually a while back, and they are
closer to the interview with Joshua Fabia.
Yeah. And he'd cut contact.
Is that before he died?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was he'd cut contact with it got bad.
He cut contact with his family?
Yeah. And that's your number one sign. Very nice people. Very, very nice people. There was a lot of information they gave us. I'll see if it's okay if it's still shared. After he died, we didn't want to share it or do any of that.
About Fabia?
Right.
Yeah, about Bonner and Fabia and that situation.
Sidestep. Faults is available on Tubi for anyone who wants to watch it, and it is for free.
That's perfect. Just sound engineer. Yeah.
Dude, that movie is so top notch. That movie, okay, so my two favorite movies of that genre are Faults. They both have to do with cults too.
Okay.
Is Faults, and then the other one is The Invitation, but there's 2 invitations. It's the one from 2015 about the dinner party, not the like vampire one. They're from like 2021. The 2015, The Invitation, and basically the premise is like a dinner party with a bunch of old friends. Mysterious, can't figure out what's going on. They think that they might have been in some cult. It's that but you have to go into both of those blind. Do not watch a fucking trailer. Don't read anything about them. Just be like, JesseOnFire knows mixed martial arts. But the only thing that he knows better than mixed martial arts is fucking what movies and TV are good. And that shit is fire. Do not watch a trailer. It'll fuck them both up.
Okay.
All right. Fair enough. So no background knowledge. We just have to go straight into it. I kind of like that. Taking a chance and a dive.
I do that. Let's do it. All right.
That's the best way to do it, dude. If you really if you ever can go in, I'm talking, if you go into a movie stone blind, a movie like a mysterious movie that like the whole thing is what the fuck is going on.
Yeah,
it's so great. That's what I did with The Invitation. I'm like, I don't think I've ever had a more enjoyable time watching a movie than that one, because I went in, I had no idea what the movie was about, like nothing, and I watched it just like, what the fuck? It's so good, dude.
I'll have to check.
Fair enough. Yeah. So you're really into the big a cult. I don't say a cult, but you're into cult style.
Not a cult.
No. The genre I like is slow burn, tight quarters where the whole story unfolds between people. It's all character driven. It's like mysterious, character driven. It's not about explosions and shit. It's about like people interactions. Like, what the fuck? Like, what's this guy up to? You know what I mean? It's like
driven in a bottle narratives.
Yep.
How did you ever watch the Waco series on Netflix?
Yeah. I watched the one that had Taylor. I watched the one that was on Showtime.
On Showtime?
Wait, are you talking about the documentary?
No, it was a 5 or 6 part mini series on Netflix about the guy who thought he was the next coming of Jesus.
Yeah, no, I know all about that story, but I watched the one that's called Waco, and it was from 2018. Michael Sharon is the FBI guy. Taylor Kitsch plays David Koresh.
Yeah,
great show.
What I find so interesting, by the way, The Invitation is also on Tubi. Shout out again to our sound engineer. He's
also the 2015 version, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
With a glass of wine on the front.
Yeah. Just found it.
Do not. I said, don't watch the trailer for either of them, but really don't watch the trailer for The Invitation. Dude, I gave my mom the same recommendation, and my mom's like, it was good, and I'm like, the fuck? I was like, how could that be? How could that be your feedback? Like, and she's like, well, I kind of knew, blah, blah, blah. And she's, I watched the trailer and yada, yada. And I went and watched the trailer, and I'm like, what the fuck? This ruins the movie completely. Like the trailer completely ruins the movie.
The question is, you didn't actually yell "What the fuck" to your mom, though, right?
Oh, of course I did. Well, maybe not in that particular case, but I've yelled "What the fuck" to my mom plenty of times.
That's funny.
My daughter told a 9-year-old in her jiu-jitsu class to shut the fuck up the other day, and then lied to me about it and told me that she said shut the frick, and that she was joking, and that he misheard her, and that his father told on them it was a mistake, and blah 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 blah. And then turns out no,
own it.
She told him to shut the fuck up, and then lied to me about it, and actually went to the kid, who is this phenom fucking future world champion jiu-jitsu fighter with a dad who is like Israeli military fucking badass.
Yeah.
And she went to him and she was like, hey, no one's gonna believe you if you tell on me anyway. Her and her friend, and she's like, and teammates don't narc each other out. And I was like,
your daughter's she's a little gay.
I told her not to rat on people, but that is not what I didn't mean. You can do shit and then tell people they're not allowed to rat on people. I said, stay out of people's business and don't fucking tell on them. But
I love that. You raised a little gangster.
She was in big trouble, dude. No, she fucking lied though, dude. She's in big trouble.
That was the problem, is the lie.
I get it. With ours, like lying is the point that we're like, I don't care what you do. If you tell me the truth, we'll talk.
Right.
You lie, you're dead.
You want to know how we caught her?
How'd you catch her?
She lied so she was lying about it. I just didn't give a shit at first. I'm like, all right, you said shut the fuck up, shut the frick up. I don't care. But then when her jiu-jitsu coach talked to me about it, and I heard more about the story and that he had talked to his dad, I'm like, okay, this is a much bigger deal than I realized. And then so I interrogated her on the way home the next day, and I could just tell, I'm like, she's fucking lying right now, dude. So her and her best friend, who is by far my favorite of her friends, because she's a little fucking gangster at jiu-jitsu, and they're the same size, and she's a killer. I'll tell you a story about her in a second. But so I grabbed Giselle's phone and I was like, okay, so here's what's going to happen now. I'm going to text Kylie pretending to be you. And I'm just going to talk about this thing and see if Kylie thinks that you said shut the frick or shut the fuck up. And Giselle, she just melted like stone fucking caught, and then well, so if I admit it, am I blah, 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 blah? I'm like, you just admitted it, you fucking idiot. Who do you think you're dealing with here? But that girl, Kylie, her best friend, Bear, you'll love this, dude. So when she was 8, she started jits and she was 8. She went to a 7-day camp. Her dad's on my team too. And he actually did some cage fights before he's like a tech. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So her first week of jiu-jitsu camp, she goes in, and on the second day of her camp, second day doing jiu-jitsu, she's 8.
Yeah.
She had something written on her arm, and her parents are like, what's on your arm? And she's like, nothing. And they're like, what's on your arm? And she's being all weird about it. And they're all, what's written on your arm? And they forced her to roll it up. And she had written the names of all the kids that had tapped her out in the first 2 days so that she'd remember who they were, so that, it's like her hit list. Her second day of jiu-jitsu, she had a fucking hit list written on her arm when she's 8. I was like, dude, that is literally the most gangster shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Him and his wife are all embarrassed about it. They're like, she's crazy. I'm like, dude, that is the best world champion origin story in history.
That's it.
And that was
8-year-old girl. That's the fucking best story I've ever heard.
That kid's going to the Olympics.
I was sold for life. Right there, she could do all kinds of fucked up shit, and I'd be like, it's fine, Giselle, you can hang out with her all the time, dude.
You're getting stuck. I got you.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. That is like, it's you. Everyone has their villain origin story. Hell no. This is her champion origin.
Yeah.
Story.
Yeah.
This is
a hit list written on her arm when she's 8 on her second day of jiu-jitsu.
Champion. That is how you become Batman.
The question is, did she ever cross some names off?
Did she ever what?
Cross some names off.
Oh yeah, she's so good now. She's so nasty. But her problem, Giselle and her have literally opposite problem, where Giselle is so relaxed in competitions, where it's if she loses, she's just kind of like, well, that was fun. It was just good. It's good because she fights hard. She fights to win, but she just kind of doesn't care. And Kylie is she hates to lose 500 times more than she likes to win. She's one of those kids, like where, which I've heard from most champions, dude, they hate to lose more than they like to win. And she, she's young, but like she needs to learn how to lose better,
Even my coach says a lot of times in cage fighting, it's who doesn't want to lose more.
Yeah.
Who does it mean more if they take the loss? That's the person going to fight harder to get the win.
We're heading up to Big Bear this afternoon, and one of the things we're
going to be helping proctor the first line and the reserves of the students who are going to compete in the 2028 Olympics for mixed martial arts.
I'm not proctoring shit. I'm just there to explain how to do social media. So, nobody lets me touch anything.
Joe Stevenson, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it in full, but Joe Stevenson's going to head it. He's running the Olympic team for that for the competitions.
The U.S. Olympics,
We have our A and we have our B teams, the reserves, and all the kids right now are like, they're very young, anywhere from like 13, 14 up to like 17. So we're going to have our seniors,
they're going to be 18
juniors,
by the
Olympics, and everything's set up basically right now.
But they have to be amateurs. The one thing they've put it in under the boxing rules. Sorry, that's my ring doorbell. They put it in under the boxing rules.
That's why you need them young.
That's why you need them young, because everyone has to be amis. Where on a lot of sports, they don't care if you're pro. With boxing, the rule is you have to come in as amis.
But is that just the United States? That's just the United States.
It's going to be
the whole world. You have to be amateur.
Yeah.
So they're keeping a lot of people back from going pro to keep them, obviously.
Bro, UFC is going to be recruiting the fucking podium.
Yeah, really. That's what it's going to be.
It's like the ultimate contender series.
Yeah, they're already on with Joe. That's already a thing. PFL's doing the same. Like everyone's already looking at this. And you couldn't have picked anyone better than Joe. He was a great fighter, but he's an incredible coach.
Yeah.
Like Bear has the world's worst stage fright, and even Joe can get him to, show up and not vomit. So, dude, I mean, you couldn't have picked anyone better.
Competing is sketchy. Even in fucking just dumb jiu-jitsu tournaments that I do every day before my first fight, I'm like, why the fuck did I do this? I don't want to do this shit. And then I'm always stoked after the tournament, but it's like,
you feel like you're on top of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even if I lost, and even if the end of my tournament is a loss, I still am like, okay, that was awesome. I mean, I've never done a tournament where I didn't win any fights, but like,
right.
But even if I did those, still I'd just be like, whatever, and I feel good about competing. But every time I'm like, fuck, dude, I hate this shit. Why did I do this? Yep.
Cowboy was the worst. He'd scream, cry, according to
Winklejohn.
He'd turn around and be like, he'd be hysterical before fights. He'd be like, throwing up. He's like, I'm not fucking. So Winklejohn talked to Bear because he's like, no, I got you. Like I've dealt with this before. You can't be as bad as Cowboy. And we talked to him. He was like, oh, you are.
Dude, one of my buddies who will remain nameless told me that they heard Brock Lesnar refuse to go out of the locker room. Like he's like they heard a conversation between Brock Lesnar and his coach. He said, I'm not fucking going out there. And then he went out and he won. He smashed a guy too when he went out.
And that's it. And there are a few of them like that. Like, but with Cowboy, the deal was Winklejohn every time was like, we never have to do this again. You can retire. This is your last fight. I promise. Like, let's just get out and get this one. And then directly after, Cowboy's like amped up exactly like you said. He's like, yeah. Let's do it again. I want another fight. And
dude, I just honestly, I can't even imagine the nerves going into the cage like that. Cause like, I mean, I'm talking about like an IBJJF fucking whatever, who cares jiu-jitsu tournament where, even not even IBJJF ones, even like if I do like a fucking Naga one, like it's still like, fuck, dude, I don't want to do this shit. I do think like one of the things I've always said about I didn't like when I did smoker, like boxing and kickboxing matches, I didn't like those. I was super fucking fired up. I don't know why. It was very different.
Yeah, no, honestly, Taekwondo tournaments and my kickboxing matches, all cool. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
When you get in the cage, it fucking turns on.
The jiu-jitsu for me feels totally different. And like my competition is not like super extensive. I've done it enough to know that when I compete in jiu-jitsu, I have paralyzing anxiety before. It doesn't affect me fighting, but like, I don't want to be there. I don't want to fucking fight. Yeah. When I used to do kickboxing and boxing, like I never felt that way at all. Like I was just like, I was just fired up. I would just listen to music for fucking 6 straight hours with a hood on, just like, I'm gonna fucking decapitate.
Just in your head. Yeah.
Just like ready to go. Like
I wouldn't talk to anybody. If somebody came up and tried to talk to me, I would literally look at them like they just like I don't know, intruded on like a fucking board meeting at Meta. You know, I'd just be like, do I look open for fucking business right now? You know what I mean? I'm having a fucking hood on to here. I'm intentionally not talking to anybody. Like, I'm doing something right now. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I love that, dude. I loved that part of competition more. And that, like, I was like that for almost every sport that I played. Like, I actually enjoyed that more than even competing. It was like the process of just putting on a hood, listening to music for fucking hours and just being like, I loved it. I don't know why. It doesn't work like that for jiu-jitsu for some reason.
Have you tried the whole hood thing in music again?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I still, you know, okay, so like I'll have an anxiety attack. I'll put on my hood and music and, you know, and I do it, but still it's like I'm not excited to compete. You know what I think it is though? Is in jiu-jitsu, I know for sure that between me and the end of the fight is me exhausted and gassed almost every time. Where that's kind of the only sport where I know I am gonna get gassed out. And that's honestly, I think what I get, that's where my fear comes from. I fucking hate being gassed, and I always gas out fighting at some point, or at the very least, even if I win, I'm still fucking tired. You know what I mean? Yeah. I really think that that's where the source of the anxiety comes from.
How many matches do you do at one of these tournaments?
Completely depends. Like I've won. I mean, I've won a tournament where I only had one fight. You know, and like it just depends. Like the Austin Open. The Austin Open, where I lost in the semis, I think had 8 people in my bracket. I mean, I personally have never had more than 3 fights in the same day.
Yeah.
But there are some that there are some tournaments that have way more than that. I just would I don't have the cardio to do fucking seven jiu-jitsu, 6-minute jiu-jitsu matches. So if I see there's too many people, I wouldn't do it. Like fucking pans in Worlds.
Yeah.
Dude, there are so many fucking people in those brackets. I look, I'm like, you know, I'll talk to like my teammates. I'm like, how many fights to win? And, you know, it's just ridiculous. Like some of them that do 8 fucking fights or something, you know, or even more than that, actually, like in adult, you know, in Worlds for adult, it's bananas.
Have you heard that the Pan Ams this year are doing MMA fights as well?
No, IBJJF Pans is?
I can't remember who's proctoring, who's the governing body. I just remember because my teammates throw out the titles all the time, but the Pan Am's Pan America, it's going to have amateur adult matches. So whoever's governing that, whatever body's governing that's going to have probably their own set of rules. And you know what's funny? Now I'm thinking about rule sets. I didn't know this, but certain states allow for pro rules at amateur level. I have teammates who have fought amateur who could elbow and knee each other in the face. They could do twisting submissions. So I wonder if that's going to be something like kind of similar down in when they hold the Pan Americas, how the rules are going to be set up at that point.
Yeah, like IBJJF, they outlawed fucking heel hooks even for black belts.
Yeah. Oh shit.
I thought black belts can't do heel hooks. That's one of the reasons I think that some of those guys don't compete IBJJF anymore. Like Craig and like all the, you know, the B team guys in New Wave. Like it's not like a standard known thing that like, of course those guys are going to do Worlds anymore. You know, like they focus on ADCC and stuff. Cause like, and I assume it's probably because they took away heel hooks and those guys are, simultaneously they're big leg lockers. And also I understand them being like, well, you've taken away one of the biggest weapons. So it doesn't seem like the most prestigious world championship anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'll say the ADCC really is becoming prestigious, as we said. That's becoming the next thing for people to do. You know, talking about going around the world, though, I see you're in a hotel room right now. Am I correct? Oh, shit. Where are you?
It's a secret. I don't want Fabia to come find me.
Oh, what's Fabia gonna do?
I want him to come find you, actually. I want him to walk into your room with this camera.
He refused to fight him. Like, go hang out with Jesse. It's fine. He won't hurt you.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to fight you, dude.
No.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fight me. He really doesn't want to fight you.
He doesn't want to fight, and he wouldn't want to fight CM Punk. If CM Punk called him out right now, he wouldn't take that fight.
CM Punk would fucking remove his teeth, dude, for sure.
I find it very, I don't understand how Fabia thinks he's coming in on the right end of this.
Because there's something that like is not correct up here. You know, like I really, you know, I don't know. Do you think like do you think crazy people know they're crazy?
Some do.
Do you think Fabia knows he's crazy?
I think Fabia knows he's full of shit, but he is trying to convince everyone else he's not.
Yeah,
There's
he
no
has
way
to know.
He doesn't know he's lying his ass off.
He's not delusional, I think is the right way to put it.
Yeah, it's there's
so
no
that
way
means he does know he's a predator.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Whether he thinks it's okay that he's a predator or not, he knows he's a con man. Oh my God, look at this.
that's it.
Speaking of that, go ahead. Sorry.
One of the things he and I talked about was, you know, when we were talking about the OnlyFans, he was talking about marketing. I'm like, dude, I work in film. Like I have like 30 TV shows coming out. Ooh, my God.
He's a fucking different person.
What is that?
It's him demonstrating he's a con man. Like if you can go from
he's in
the MMA fucking guy who's coaching Diego to that,
right?
You're a con man. Like he's just putting on a thing. You know, honestly, what I was thinking about this morning related to that is how like
break his neck.
Everybody's like at the end of the day, as bizarre as it is, most people's behavior centers around the pursuit of money because everybody needs money to survive. People find weird ways to make money. People kind of go really traditional. They're all just go get a job at a company, you know, whatever. His thing is trick people out of their money, you know, like he presents, and it's, you know, the sector that he put himself in initially, you know, kind of like new age woo-woo guru shit, is one of the best possible places to fleece people for money because it's all based on faith. You know, like a person says like, listen, man, I am able to levitate and go back in time, change things the way that I want them. Tell me what you want for your life and I will go back and I will change this realm. It's just all nonsense that's unverifiable. And it's like the guy went from that and then just what's that?
It's like that chi pushing stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's like my wife's an acupuncturist. There's something to that, but nonetheless, but like it's just unverifiable. Like stuff like
that, I meant, you know, like Liam McDojo talks about, like I can breathe on you or touch you.
Oh yeah. Like you go like this, and the person's all, oh.
That's
touch of death.
Like, that's it. Because that's what Fabio was saying he was working on.
Yeah. Well, that stuff though, like that stuff requires an accomplice, you know, like you have to have an accomplice in those scams where the new age, like I'm a guru stuff, all you need is a group of gullible people that are looking for a reason to believe in something and you just tell them whatever and they'll buy it. And he went from that into the most clearly identifiable, whether you're real or not, sector ever. Like you come into combat sports, you can't fucking fake whether or not you know how to transition from a fucking arm bar to an omoplata. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, very simple, whether you know what you're doing or not. And also the way you talk, you know, the way you talk about the business and the way you behave, it's like
everything's a knife.
People are gonna sniff you out, dude. You know, and so he got sniffed.
Yeah.
That took 20 seconds.
Well, because it's not hard. Yeah. Anyone, here's the thing. There's one story where it took him a fucking year. This guy signed up as a jiu-jitsu coach at a UFC gym. They hired him, they paid him for 12 months straight. He would go home, learn the techniques on YouTube, go to the class and teach it to people. And he got away with it. He wouldn't spar with anyone, wouldn't grapple with anyone. He would YouTube the lesson plan, and then he would go home and they paid him for that. He never attended class before that. That is the one time where I've seen people get away with some fake shit.
But he still got busted.
You can see how someone could pull that off. You know, but like if you have high level guys though, if you have high level guys, they're gonna ask detailed questions. They're gonna be like, okay, so then if I do a gable grip and then I tighten my elbow, if I move this way, what happened? You know, like the guy's probably like, yeah, do that. You know what I mean?
It's 100%.
That's how he got busted, wasn't it?
No, so people. The way he got busted in my story is these guys, some of the students were like, this guy can't really answer all of our questions. We reached out to a YouTube channel that was known for busting fake black belts. They came in and filmed him and got him fired because he admitted on camera, oh, I'm not a black belt. I don't know Like I'm just YouTubing the stuff at home for the job. Like
yeah, they're like, I mean, that honestly, if you like, I could totally understand how a person could get away with that for a year, especially at a gym that's not a PI, you know, like if you're dealing mostly with like new people, you just to do that exact scam would be easy. At a PI or places where you actually have people who know things, they can come in and like as soon as they started sniffing it out, they'd be like, you know, hey, from a deep half, when you find yourself in this spot, what's your preference in terms of, you know, this, that, or the other? They would just, how would they possibly answer that if they're just
humble? There's nothing to them.
I don't know any of the words you just said.
So deep half is when you're
no, it's okay. But that's, I think,
the point. You don't want to know?
No, it's okay.
Well, I'll tell you later. I'll show you later.
You don't want to be in a deep half if you're fighting in a real fight. Deep half is, if you're good at deep half in jiu-jitsu, you can turn it into a dominant position. But like if you're in a real fight, people will just smash your face.
Well, hold on. I'll say this. I use deep half to escape out the back a lot of times, especially if my guy's really like, if I'm in a bad position, I'd much rather get sucked in closer to him and try and scoot out behind him.
Oh yeah. If you're already in a bad spot.
Yeah. I wouldn't just jump to it. Like, I'm going to go on a tangent again here. Did you watch the 299 fights?
Yeah.
Did you see how many, like Dustin jumped for 4 guillotines?
Oh, it's amazing, dude. And then he's like, he's like, I'll never stop, dude. He's never finished a submission, he's never finished a guillotine in an MMA fight before.
No, he wants it so bad. You can tell.
Yeah. Dude, you know what would be so fucking sick is if he gets a title shot and they do it in New Orleans and then he wins by guillotine. I will throw myself out this window. If fucking Dustin wins the belt in New Orleans, Louisiana, and he wins by fucking guillotine over Islam Makhachev, I swear to God, I will try to parachute off this thing and just cross my fingers that it works, and I won't care if it doesn't because my life is complete.
Film it. Get a GoPro and like a heavy duty cam so we can catch it after.
That would be the most gangster shit ever.
That would be though.
This just made me remember we're supposed to call GSP to see if he wants to fight Sugar Shane. I forgot about that.
Oh, wait.
My sensei wants to fight GSP on Fight Pass, or said he would. Shanji Ribeiro, the winningest IBJJF world champion ever.
Yeah,
he said he'd come out of retirement to fight St. Pierre on Fight Pass. They're the same age.
I like that.
Hey, that would work. I think they're trying to set up a show right now where Sugar Shane Mosley fights.
Yeah, so it's for Sugar Shane's
boxing.
Fight.
Yeah.
We've got him. We've got the Dan Henderson fight. We've got you know what's going on with that.
Wait, Dan Henderson's gonna fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's coming out of retirement.
We've been negotiating with Tyson and Evander Holyfield, and obviously,
oh man, don't let anybody punch Evander, dude.
No. Well, Evander wants Henderson, and we're like, we'll just leave him with Tyson. It's cool.
Well, Tyson's fighting Jake Paul.
But he's going to.
So that's July.
This is really weird though. They're talking. Yeah, this is October. We've already negotiated. You already know about all this. But the big thing is like Holyfield wants in, and I'm like,
listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if anybody puts Evander back in, like everything that they're saying about Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, where they're all, oh my God, he's 60. It's elderly abuse. It's bullshit when it comes to Tyson. It's 100% legit when it comes to Evander. I don't want to take money out of this guy's pocket, but like.
Well, we're looking at bringing him on to commentate and do some different things. He's lovely. The big thing,
he's awesome, but he does not need to get punched in the face ever again.
The bloody the thing with the Paul fight though is like he can tap in Logan.
No, that all came out as fake.
It's nonsense. It's all fake. I talked to Jake's team yesterday. All that's fake.
Okay,
every bit of it. The headgear's fake. 18-ounce gloves fake. That all of it's complete nonsense.
Good.
Yeah, so I actually, so here's the thing. It went unanswered for so long that even I was talking about it, and I was like, that's such a rigged fucking fight. How do you allow this to happen? And then finally we saw the video, right? And then everyone's like skeptical, like, how is he trying to cover it up? You know, and stuff like that.
It's Paul's people. He's very good at marketing. I'm sure they are some of the people that put this out because it makes conversation.
Right.
It makes it conversation, and then you debunk it. I've done that 100 times for clients.
That makes sense.
Let me crop this just to be
discreet,
but
nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bullshit.
Yep.
But did you guys see what Logan Paul said yesterday? Did you watch my video that I did on this yesterday? Did you see what Logan Paul did about the Tyson and Jake Paul fight?
No, I only knew about the Poppy video that came out.
Dude. Okay, so they asked Logan. So what's the criticism that everybody's given Jake about that fight? They're like, it's elderly abuse, like you're whatever. It's like, that's like, they're really heavily criticizing the fight. I think it's nonsense. Like, Mike Tyson is literally one of the single greatest boxers of all time. Everyone's all, yeah, but he's old. And I'm like, okay, so take every factor that would factor into who you think would win this fight, and you have 100% on Tyson, and then one over here that's like, he's younger, like he might win. Maybe that actually will. But if you watch Tyson train and they think that's not formidable, they're out of their mind. Anyway, so they asked Logan and Logan's like, yeah, I actually turned down the Tyson fight. He's like, I turned it down, and Jake came out. He's like, that's a complete fucking lie. And then Logan's like, and honestly, and they're like, well, do you think you can win? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I could beat him. He's like, but I wouldn't fight him. He's too old. He's like senile. So Logan fucking completely undermined his brother's fight, jumped on the negativity bandwagon. That guy's a fucking piece of shit.
Hang on, but that's good marketing. They do that back and forth to each other, but it brings up the views.
No. I agree with that sometimes I believe that that's what they're doing. But as soon as the direction that he went, where he actually said he's old and senile, that's how I know that's not what they're doing, because they were actually really taking shit about Tyson being old. Gotcha. So like, if they were going to beef, you would do that, but you definitely would not say Tyson's too old and senile, because that's like legitimate criticism that they're giving to the fight. Like that wouldn't be part of it. That's how I knew it was real.
And by the way, they shouldn't. I've spoken with the bloke. He is absolutely fully in his faculties. There's no question there.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight.
Dude, the other thing is, I'll show you. Tyson has the number one selling vape company in the world. Yeah, he does. Dude, you want to know what that means? This motherfucker doesn't need the money, which means like an old fighter. Oh yeah, give me the fight. It's like they want. If he doesn't want the money, then what's he doing? He wants to fucking fight. You know?
He wants the crowd.
You know what? We probably need to keep talking about this to another show, because we're out of time. But for sure, that dude just wants to get in there.
I'm gonna still try and get Fabio on. I'm gonna he'd asked to come on the show. We're gonna stay on him. I'll let you know what's going on with that.
Yeah, we have a plan for that one.
And we'd love to have you on again. Obviously, we didn't get to any audience questions. You guys talked about jiu-jitsu. I'm gonna get yelled at.
We talked about things that people want to hear.
No, you talked about things you want to get here. Now I'm gonna get yelled at for not asking questions.
Oh, what they don't want to know about deep half applied to MMA. So what do? So you pin so when you use deep half, you pin your head to their chest so they can't get good leverage and punch you, and then you slide out the back.
I stay tight against the hip because I'm looking for a knee bar up against my crotch using my feet. And if failing that, I use my feet to turn his leg out. So I'm turning his foot towards his hips, and I'm using that
thing where you step over with your outside leg and pull the ankle. Like, so
no. I have my feet like one on top of the ankle heel, other one on top of the heel, and I'm pushing down as I arch my hips up to break it. And if that fails, I turn it out. I literally just rotate them. But I'm getting the signal
to break or so you can escape.
Both. If he doesn't fight it, I'll break his knee.
Let's talk more about this offline.
I will have to show you later. All right.
Guys, make sure you're following JesseOnFire. We watch him. This isn't like an ad. We legitimately follow Jesse. Please watch him. He's one of our favorite creators. Jesse, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. Bear, call me after this. I want to hear how you do that.
100%. Take care, guys.
We'll see you next week. Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with Summer Helene and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk 4 Media.